Utah, welcome to the wonderful threesome that is Austin, Lindsay, and Bryce!
Party breaking stuff.
Yeah, this makes me feel like Alright, so, Attack of the Titan. It is huge, it is massive. So my question would be for you guys, because it is huge and massive in Japan, and then it comes here, and you guys redub it, how do you interject yourself into a character that's already been created?
That's our whole career.
I know.
That's acting.
Well, so how do you interject yourself though? What part of your character is you and what part is the actual character?
Well, I mean, the goal is to create that character, to pay homage to what the original Seiyu did with the performance, but not copy them, to kind of make it our own. And the goal is to communicate what's supposed to be communicated in the story. So if a moment is sad, or if you're supposed to feel something as an audience member, if something's supposed to be funny or make you angry, like if we do a good job, you feel the same thing that you would feel if you spoke Japanese or whatever language you're watching the show.
Yeah. The way I approach any character, and whether this be voiceover work or on-camera work, I take whatever information I'm given about the story, about the character, and I think, okay, if I was this character, how would I react? How would I say this line? Not as myself, but if I was born into that circumstance and I have the experiences that that character experienced.
Yeah. I mean, every character in a story has a specific purpose to drive the plot. That's why they're included in the story that's being told. So you always, to some degree, especially smaller characters, like many that I play, are there for a specific purpose. And it's your job to fulfill that purpose, to serve the needs of the story. Because and that can change a lot in terms of style and aesthetic. If you're in one piece, in order to serve that story, you're gonna have a more heightened vocal quality than if you're in Attack on Titan. So a lot of that dictates our behavior. I would say as actors too, we're mostly like tools that are hopefully giving the director exactly what the director wants, and those are the people that are putting all the pieces together. So really, like, in terms of my contribution and what I get to interject, it's the first take. And if the director decides to use that take, it's like, that was my idea. And sometimes they'll be like, do it again, but different.
No, that is so true.
I stained this shirt that I bought this morning.
Yeah,
I'm really upset about it.
I love that you're cleaning it.
You were like hoping that no one would notice, and now you just let everyone know about it.
I hope I'm not talking out of school, but
I want everyone to know that I know.
I thought it was 420, but it's actually the smell from the Clorox. So I was like, what is that? Oh, I didn't sit next to this guy, the contact guy. I will say that in a couple seconds we're going to start questions, which I've already told you. What kind of questions are we going to have? Good questions. That's I trained for you guys, because you guys deserve the best. And these are the best fans. So go ahead and start lining up, and I'm going to ask a couple of questions. We'll get moving on. Also, I was asked to make sure that any question that you ask does not spoil anything for anybody else.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't say that.
No, let's try this. Who has read the manga all the way to the end? Tell me nothing.
We don't know how it ends.
We don't know what happens, and my method is to go in without knowing, and similar to you, to feel what my character is feeling in those moments. You've seen the anime all the way up to what's been released. Awesome, that's where I'm at. Who's never seen Attack on Titan before? Sweet, awesome. For you guys, like, it's like a lighthearted comedy, and you pick me up. That's when you start Attack on Titan.
It's like, you want to see more of like a thing you play for your toddler,
I know how it works a little bit, and you have to go in and do the What's the weirdest thing they've ever had to kind of say, either plot-wise or just weird noise-wise?
Never heard.
So Lindsay, what do you have for answer? What was your answer?
Oh, I'm not doing that.
What was your answer again?
I just thought you were releasing tension.
It's good for that too.
In Attack on Titan, in season 1, Eren makes a noise as he's kind of inhaling Levi's boot. And the sound that I made was, Mike McFarlane, the director, immediately went, oh! That was great.
Weird sounds. Blood barfs are always fun. I feel like the difference between a blood barf and a regular barf is there's more tongue.
We did a panel before I looked at this. It's called Efforts and Reactions. And Austin, he joined to teach people how to do those sounds. And he ran a clinic on blood barfs. Like, we did like 20 minutes on just all the different types of barfing and if there's blood involved. So he is a master of blood barfing.
But if we're pulling out weird sounds, I will, since you already started us down that lane, I'll reference Ayumu from Is This a Zombie in 2 separate occasions on both seasons. It's a running gag where he gets impaled with something, and it's a mixture of, it's a journey, the sound that he makes every time. It's a mixture of pleasure and pain, and it goes like, there's more vocally strenuous than that, but that's
There are
as much as I'm gonna give you.
reactions we do that like could sound like we're having a great time, or it could sound like we're in the worst pain of our life. But it's the same sound.
It's funny when you're doing Walla, which is when they get like 4 guys and put them in a room together to do background noises. Anytime it's like soldiers preparing for war, or like setting up camp, it's just a lot of like, yeah, over there, yeah.
One thing I like to do, I wait until they're expecting a very quiet noise, so the engineer turns our volume way up to hear it, and then I do what's called a bad anime reaction. So if they're expecting I give them a and then I watch them just jump as the speakers blow out their eardrums. It's good time.
Yeah, definitely. I think for most of us, when we go in to record for Attack on Titan, they turn it way down because there's a lot of screaming.
Oh yeah.
Bryce making friends in the booth. So we're just starting off with a question. So just quickly state your name and a great question to lead it off. You're the first one, no pressure.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jessica Bruce Austin. If you need another
I think the paint from my thumb. So I was using this one, and I think it got on my thumb, and then the paint on my thumb actually is. So the spot is worse now. Now it's like kind of pink and blue.
You are in Utah where there's nothing but moms and big sisters and willing to help.
I need a mom. I need help.
So what kind of great question you got?
I was just wondering whether it be emotional or just because they kept having you redo the same take. What was the hardest take or scene you had to film or like a voiceover for the show?
In Titan specifically, or like across our
Your
careers?
choice.
Cool.
Wait, you say career-wise? Or you said just Titan, right?
It could be either the show or career.
I'm gonna do Titan. So every season they bring my character back for 15 minutes. So we can watch him die again. I say 15 minutes, that's not how long I'm on screen, that's how long my sessions are. When they call me in and they go, okay, do it again, but it hurts more this time. And it's longer. So all those sounds, not to spoil any of the plot for anyone, but my character relives an event multiple times. And it's... I enjoy it half the time, but the other half is very unpleasant.
But the question is like most challenging, right?
Yeah, I think it was the hardest for you like to get into the emotions of the character or just like if your director kept telling you to do the same thing repeatedly, which one would be?
hardest, this is so stupid, the hardest thing that I had ever recorded. The hardest thing for me. For those of you who don't know, I also am the voice of Nagisa in Assassination Classroom.
Yes!
Woo! Shout out to the Nagisa I see over there.
Do we have an Assassination Classroom panel this weekend? Do we don't?
No.
Okay, never mind.
My hero panel tomorrow.
I have a similar role in Classroom as you have in Titan, Austin, so we can do that. I don't last at all.
For those of you who are not familiar with that character in that show, it's a boy character, a boy who's in middle school? Middle school, I should know that. And so, I use a boy voice, and toward the end of the show, the class sings Happy Birthday.
Oh, God.
And I already struggle anytime I have to sing anything. I'm not a great singer, but let me tell you, having to sing in Nagisa's voice was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It was so hard. It sounded horrible, and I just was so grateful that Nagisa did not have any solos in that song, and it was all like sung as a group. The whole class was singing together. It sounded so bad, and I'm very certain that they turned my recording way down in the final audio of the show. Yeah, silly answer, but that is the honest truth. That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Do you also remember the rhythm of that song? Because it was a happy birthday song, but the rhythm got really weird at one point. It was like, happy birthday,
Yeah, because we have to match the way it's already been animated.
It was
We can't
like
just-
happy birthday, but we had to change the rhythm.
Oh my god, well that makes it a lot, I don't remember that specifically.
I do.
That makes it a lot.
It was
I was
terrible.
focused on just how hard it
I
sounded.
was really bad
Was
too.
it during that brief period of time where Happy Birthday was copyrighted, he had all had to change it for a little bit, and then it finally...
Oh, no.
This pen is working so much better than the other one.
Oh god.
And it smells so much better than the other one. Like, oh, I'm happy.
For me, in Titan, there's a moment at the end of season 3 where Eren is in a terrible spot, and he's kind of breaking down, and it's like, he lets out this strange emotion that's hard to kind of put your finger on. He's like, he's crying, he's laughing, he's breaking. And my method truly is to feel what my character is feeling, so I had to literally kind of open scars that made me feel like he was feeling. And I was hurting for weeks after recording that. And similar in the show, it was Trina that kind of pulled me out of my funk after leaving the booth. She had heard the scene and she was like nervous for me to go record it. Because we were on a panel and she's like, I know this is coming, like, good luck. I'm like, thanks, Trina. She's like, I don't know what you're gonna do, but good luck. And then she heard it and she was very complimentary about how it sounded and that the emotion came through the right way, but that was really tough. I really felt that moment for a long time. So yeah, I think that was my toughest moment so far. Who knows what else is coming?
It's not over yet.
Oh, listen, we're not done yet. I've done some crazy things in this show. Season 1, I bit my hand so hard I left bruises. Season 2, Eren is more unhinged than he ever was, so I literally unhinged my jaw in the booth. And season 4, I go 100% on this one, because it's what the show deserves. It's this raw, visceral type of feelings that are coming through in the performance. So season 4, I did some of the craziest things I've ever done, and I will share them after we're done, because I don't want the company to tell me never to do that again. So one day I'll tell the story, but just know there's some moments in this latest season that were some of the hardest sessions I've ever had. Yeah, I'm really proud of what we tracked. Really proud of it.
Great first question, well done. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Look at that. That's a good way to, it's like leaving it in your wallet. Well done. I'll pick that up afterwards. Very good. Next.
Is that something you do?
No, I've been married for 20 years.
I know you said wallet and not like purse.
Well, no one makes a person like this. Go ahead.
So my name's Kaylee.
Speak into the microphone, please.
Grab that mic.
Sorry, I'm not
Looks okay, just tilt it down towards you.
Okay, so my name's Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee.
I want to know what was like the most powerful line, and like how you really prepare yourself for those lines.
Prepare is a funny thing, because we don't prepare.
You don't give the opportunity to.
The first time we're seeing the script is right there in the moment. The first time we're saying the words as our characters is right there in the moment. Like,
You don't need any of that.
no preparation, we don't table read. In fact, this is our first time on a panel and meeting. And we had so many kind of really intense moments in this last season, but we're just playing across each other without actually being with each other. You're by yourself in that mood. So prepping, especially these days for me, I built a studio in my house. So I walk in the studio and that's it. Before, like with season 1 for Titan, I live in Los Angeles. Titan recorded in Dallas, Texas. I would fly to Texas. I got to stay with Mike McFarlane, the director. We would drive into the studio and Mike listens to metal music. So it was like 30 minutes of like, and then 8 hours as Aaron. So yeah, that was very I would fly back to LA and still be angry and then just yell at people in traffic. It's good times.
Yeah, we don't get to see the script in advance. And so, I mean, even the first time I went in to record as Scotty for the show, I went in knowing that I was recording for Attack on Titan, but I didn't even know what role I was going to be playing. They didn't tell me in advance, so there was literally zero prep I could have done. The only prep I got was at the end of the session, the director, Mike, filling me in on, you know, the background of my character, what I needed to know about that character, and that was it. And then we just went for it.
I remember the very last thing that happened before I was no longer needed for season 1. I was in the booth and I'd just done this really amazing monologue to Jean about how he's a good leader because he's weak. And then I fly off and I'm like, man, I'm getting some good screen time. I bet I'm gonna be needed more in the future. There's this long pause. I'm like waiting for whatever's supposed to happen next. And then I look over and I see the director, Mike. He's just like, you can see he's scrolling through his computer screen with like a confused look on his face. And then after a minute he goes, oh, that's right, you're dead, get out. And that's how I knew I was no longer in the show.
So perhaps easy.
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen episode 6.
Oh, she's not what she's going to read to us.
Hi, this is Mia. So my question is for Bryce. I was just wondering if you enjoy voicing Aaron in season 1 through 3 more, or season 4?
I mean, it's incredible to look at the transformation that Aaron has had. I've voiced him 4 very different ways. Itty bitty Aaron, angsty teenage Aaron, bigger Aaron, do not spoil anything, and now longer hair Aaron. So we didn't know that was going to happen. I mean, we didn't know that the character would change so much, and we essentially reinvented what the character would sound like. I mean, seasons 1 through 3, Aaron is angry, and anger is like coursing through his veins and comes through in every line. Season 4, that anger is there, but it's under this like layer of coldness, and it makes him terrifying. So we basically recreated a character after living with him for 6-7 years, which was so cool. How can I choose? They're both part of the performance, so I just love that I got the opportunity to do that. You don't really get to, live with a character for that long very often. Most of the time it's what you experience. So I feel really fortunate there. Yeah, I had a good one of those. If anyone's seen the new Cyberpunk series.
No way, really?
Episode 7's really good.
I started watching it.
You check it out, you'll love that character.
Good mind.
So yeah, it's not too often you get to live with a character for that long, let alone do so much with them. So I think the overall the overall experience has been life-changing. And I'm excited to see what else is left. Yeah, because I truly don't know. I've avoided the entire internet. So don't spoil anything.
Thank you.
That's groovy. That's exactly how I would like to operate too. And it's hard to explain to some people. I sometimes I'll call it exercising willful ignorance, but it really can help your performance.
Yeah.
It's like in the Matrix when Morpheus says there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
Wow.
Wow.
If I had a microphone, I'm not attached to something like
I'm Pilani, and I'm just wondering, what's the weirdest interaction with the fans you've had?
Besides this one right now?
There's so many.
What's the nicest? Let's do that one first.
Okay.
Because that's always nice to hear.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think I have so many lovely interactions with people who meet me at my table, but I think one of the coolest was actually at a convention in London a few years ago, and there was a guy who came up to me, and he told me that he had moved to the UK from Poland just a year before. And that when he moved there, he didn't know any English at all. He only spoke Polish, and I couldn't believe it because his English sounded perfect. He's like, yeah, and watching Assassination Classroom was actually what really helped me learn English. And I was like, what? That's so cool. So that's the first thing that comes to mind is like a cool one. Weird? There are a lot of weird interactions. I think women might experience some different types of weird interactions than maybe some male police doctors do. One of the ones that comes to mind is somebody who came up wearing a sign that said, "Free hugs for girls only." And he brought me a Valentine. That was slightly uncomfortable.
Bryce, do you have any passive names? What are your fans called?
I haven't come up with a name for that, but that's hilarious.
Happy Broads.
I didn't want that.
Having broads and having bros.
Hey, you know.
There we go. I don't know, man. Everyone's into different things. I have a great time at these events. I haven't had really awkward, weird, or strange interactions. I just have fun and kind of play along with everything. I think some really cool ones recently, Zenitsu reminded me of one. There was a guy that was cosplaying Inosuke, so he's shirtless, and in really good shape. And he said, I lost about 100 pounds motivated by Inosuke. So to have like that kind of thing happen, we don't expect anything to happen. You know, you're in this room by yourself and you pour your heart into the microphone and hope someone hears it, let alone causing something so positive for somebody that, I mean, he literally changed his life because Inosuke kept telling him to train his ass off! It is the coolest thing. I mean, this is literally a voice actor's applause coming here and doing this stuff. So, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
So Austin, we have weight loss, we have learning English.
There's this one time in Florida, I signed this dude's chest for free. He was like, "We signed my chest," but the thing is, it's really hard to sign skin. Oh, I haven't learned the skill. Others have. I think Todd was there that weekend too. I think.
No, it's fine. I'll just talk like this. Okay. You rock it out. Okay, it's not my fault.
It happened like one.
That's why they don't let voice actors touch the microphones.
So
Now they gotta crank it up.
golly. So I signed it not very well. It didn't look anything like my signature. It looked like a weird stick figure man. And he was like, I'm gonna go get this tattooed. And I was like, don't. And so I took a blank piece of paper and I signed it a couple times. I was like, here's multiple other versions. Take that off, go to a tattoo guy, and they can put this on you, and then you do that. And sure enough, he came back the next day with the stick figure man tattoo. He was an impulsive person. But that's why now to this day it gives me so much anxiety when people want my name tattooed on them. And it's happened a surprising number of times.
No one's ever, at least to my knowledge, no one's ever shared with me that they would like to. Because I guess, do they normally have you sign their skin or sign like a piece of paper for them to?
I've had both.
Nobody's ever
There was
wanted
one.
to sign autograph on their butt.
There was one where I signed a print for them, and they were like, come up with a quote, and I had to Google. This was before I had good Tokyo quotes in my head, and I just found one that was like really kind of depressing.
Well, I think most of the ones from that show.
And then she came back, and the tattoo covers her entire thigh, and it's the whole quote in my handwriting, and then my signature. I mean, I don't know. At some point, I remember going back and thinking, I don't know, should I had more restraint, a younger, impressionable person, maybe in a few years, I'm gonna have a horrible regret for this giant tattoo.
Maybe your quote shouldn't have been like,
No, but I ran into her at a con last year, though, and she was like, no, check it out, that's great. So.
It's really weird this weekend.
Thank you.
That's appropriate, you know?
We got one more. Unfortunately, I just got the signal that we're ending a little early, so we got one more, and then I'm gonna. Yeah, we have 5 minutes. You see how much they answer questions, don't you?
Look at how much everyone wants to be here with us, though. Except for those guys.
We're gonna try to rapid fire this.
Well, yeah, we'll try to do.
Okay, lightning round.
fuck us.
Hi, Sandy. What's your favorite season of Voice Acting?
The end of season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul.
I can't think of one.
Next.
I can't choose. I feel like you work so hard to get cast as any character. They become like kids that live in your head. And a lot of my kids are crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, ditto.
I can't pick a favorite.
Fine, that one's not my favorite either. I hate all of them.
Next.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. What ways do you get to relate to your character's name titles?
Sorry, say that again?
What ways do you relate to your character's name titles?
Zombie and I both have brown hair.
I can relate to that.
I probably would have died as quick or more quickly.
And I actually am about as angry as Aaron when I'm in traffic.
Hi, my name's Nick. My question's for Austin. What's it like playing a lot of shorter characters, but then going to play comic and Tokyo Ghoul?
Shorter, like height-wise? Well, I'll have you know, I actually play a lot of leads in animes that no one's ever heard of. But it was amazing, spending 4 years on one character, getting to change the person while that character was changing. Nothing like it. Thank you.
Next.
Hi, my name is Seidel, and I was wondering, do you think that any of the scouts or other characters could defeat Koro-sensei?
Apparently, it struck a nerve.
I mean,
That's
if he's in Titan form, I could see him eating up Koro-sensei.
But he's so fast.
He's really fast.
Really fast. And I think that's the kicker.
Yeah, he's an amorphous blob. It's pretty hard.
No.
What if they fight him after a big meal?
No, that doesn't seem to slow him down.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Thank you.
Thank you. Koro-sensei's a son. He chose to be killed.
Yeah. You wouldn't do it very well. I mean, He'd probably say, Baron Hayden? Pegasus. Barney?
You got this.
I'm Jenna. And then what's your favorite line you've voiced out of characters from any series?
What's your favorite line of all time?
Oh my gosh.
Or the one that first popped into your head?
This is not my favorite, it's just the first thing that popped in my head.
Just hanging around in your head just like that.
Michiko and Hachin. Is that how you say that name?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. My sweet corned beef.
I just did something as you noticed me, so. Yo, Pachiro Kamaboko!
Alright, quick.
Alright, my name is Jason. Just wondering, out of all the characters that happen now, rather like,
So we're gonna last question. We're gonna recast. What one would you love to play that you are not playing?
You can't. That's like saying, who of your friends do you want to?
David.
Do you feel you do a better job of it?
David's got a great life. I take it in a second. Go ahead.
I would obviously want to take Matt Mercer's character. Not that I could, but that's why other people cast, and that's why you're not allowed to cast yourself.
Yeah, ditto. I auditioned for Aaron, Armin, and Levi. And yeah, Levi, I mean, no one